As the 1960s drew to a close, a generation of kids grew increasingly unsatisfied with pop culture. Rock music was experiencing a revolution, one that would soon produce an avid following. Legions of fans began touring the country, creating a subculture revolving around improvisational music and free thought. 40 years later, this vibrant scene continues to flourish. It's Jam Nation on Radio 104, WMRQ. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Jeff Waffle. That was the Aaron McDonald Band, recorded May 25th, 2002 at the Come Together Music Festival. And right now we're going to hear from Grand Theft Bus. This was recorded August 24th, 2002 at the Evolve Music and Awareness Festival. Thanks for tuning in. It's Jam Nation, Radio 104, WMRQ.
Jam band? Well, let's see. It's a derivative. The way that I see it is it's a derivative of rock and roll infused with jazz. Like trying to, I don't know, bring maybe a harder level of jazz and bring maybe a stronger sound to the idea of improvisation.
Like spontaneous, I guess, which makes it a lot more interesting to watch because you don't know what's going to happen next. It's all just, oh wow, that's an awesome beat that they're going on with this, and then it's just a lot more original, I find.
Oh, jam band is a band that I'm not going to sit down the whole set. I'm going to be dancing.
Gosh, just the music, man. Basically, man. I came to see the music, and then the scene just got me.
I mean, it's just kind of one of those things you do, you look for the adventure. This is the American, this is the other half of America, this is the counterculture,
Yeah, I don't know, I just think it's kind of cool that, you can come to a place and find 75,000 kids who all arrived at the same conclusion. From all around America? All independent, yeah, from all around America. How many license plates have you seen? Just the same enjoyment of the same, the same music, same vibe. Everybody's so happy, everybody just got in, they drove their asses off, and, they spent all day in a car, now they pitch their tents, and I don't know. There's nobody has any bad vibe. Nobody has any bad emotions toward anybody else. Nobody has any bad feelings. I think, and that's really, I don't know. It's a great place. You feel safe here, and you feel, I don't know. You feel happy, I guess.
Everyone's helping everyone out. Just meeting everyone who's just meeting someone you bump into. Sorry, hey, what's your name? Oh, hey, where you live? Oh, you know my friend. Yeah. It's just a gathering of friends.
To me, it's basically the friendliness of everyone. Everyone's so positive, their attitudes are positive, and everyone has good karma, and it just makes me really happy.
I like to go to Widespread Panic shows and Trey and Fish, yeah. And it's always the same type of people. They're very kind and,
friendly.
Yeah. They're all there for the music. They're hippies, man.
And what defines a hippie, I guess?
A beautiful person that loves music, that thinks music is life.
Nobody here is really a hippie as much as they want to pretend. This is not all safe and tree. This is much more of a music scene than a protest scene.
The summer festival circuit is just exploding these days. It's really a remarkable time to be covering this style of music because it seems that over the last few years, more and more festivals have been popping up, and it's gotten to the point where there's literally several festivals booked every weekend of the summer, and I was worn out this year. I'm not complaining because it's an amazing lifestyle to live, but to be going to all these festivals, we had the Bonnaroo Music Festival, the wildly successful festival that was actually early on in the summer series, so to speak. And 70,000 people showed up. People drove great distances from all around the country and all around the world even, gathering in the vibes, going strong. They had Phil Lesh and Friends headlining 2 nights. That was a big accomplishment for them, of course. the whole festival was based on the tradition of the Grateful Dead. Yeah, on the other end of the spectrum, you had the Spring Shaker Festival, a tiny festival up in New Brunswick, Canada. You had the Evolve Music and Awareness Festival. And then you had the Frontier Town Festival. And we're going to play a track from that, recorded May 22nd, 2002. The name of the band is Juke Joint, and this was in Durham, Ontario. Thanks for tuning in to Jam Nation. It's Radio 104, WMRQ. The people who follow this music travel from all over North America to see their favorite bands. Many hours of driving and waiting in line outside the gate are all part of the experience.
Man, it took us about a day and a half, but it's only about 6 hours.
Yeah.
It sure is.
Traffic
was rough.
How long were you guys waiting in line?
I was there for 17 hours. Oh, it was great. Everybody's out having a good time, you know, just partying on the road. Had to do something. We was stuck there. It wouldn't move.
Okay, how many miles away is Nova Scotia, Canada?
1,400. 1,500 miles, I'd say.
And it took 43 hours.
43 hours to get here.
How far away is it?
It's about a 4-hour drive generally. Took us 18 hours, including 5 hours waiting to get in the gate because we're riding in the bus, 71. We had to stop to let it cool down. We had a 2-hour detour for fixing the gear shift.
Is it worth the hassles?
Well, that's debatable. It's a labor of love. And you learn a lot about yourself in the process. You spend a lot of money too, though. That's kind of the problem.
You know, you can figure it out. You dump it, you grab a ticket, and we'll call it out, and whoever is going to have that number will win this bus. Win my bus.
Oh,
yeah! Number 37.
Oh, yeah! We can get home!
You guys here to see this weekend?
Phil Lesh and friends. Man, dude. Phil and Warren, man. Phil and Warren.
No, man. It's Phil and Jimmy.
That's true, dude.
Jimmy and those acid chords he gets way up into. You know what I mean? Like fucking Harry's the bomb. But it's all about Kimmock tonight, man. 4th of July, Kimmock.
How far did you travel?
California. From California.
How long of a drive's that?
About 4 days. We did it in 3.
We hitchhiked from northeastern Maryland.
How long did that take?
3 days.
Like, especially since the Beatles, but like over the ages, like I guess, but especially, yeah, since the time of the Beatles and Woodstock, that music has carried with it a very strong culture, very strong subculture. And people have a certain identity according to what type of music that they like.
Wake up in the morning, you're all groggy, you got a big headache. You see a guy walk by with bananas on his head and you laugh. So it's good.
Many people credit the Grateful Dead for creating this genre of improvisational music and beginning the lifestyle. Since the 1960s, many bands have followed in the Dead's footsteps, helping to create the scene that exists today.
I think people that are into the Dead, that are into the bands that play here, share the same values. The vibe is the same. It's people that are, cooperating together and really enjoying hanging out with each other, and there aren't any fights or violence or that kind of stuff. It's a very loving vibe.
It seems like since the Grateful Dead stopped touring, that there's more of this sort of scene happening, sort of the diaspora effect.
I would say, whether they want to debate it or not, it's like, what band is it? It's like, now it's like if it's the Fish scene, or what was it the Dead scene? Are they like the overlapping scene? I don't really think it's about the band. I think it's about the people, the music, but not the band. All the bands are great,
The way I look at it is all these different branches of, they call it a scene, but it's really so many different types of music that come together through, I don't know what, but they'll realize there's more than 2 bands out there. It's not just Fish and Widespread Panic. There's a whole lot of people with the same magic and the same power.
I think that this is the closest thing that could be compared to Woodstock since Woodstock.
This isn't like Woodstock. This isn't like Woodstock 69 or 94 or 99 or anything like that. This is people with different values. It's different music. It's different morals.
The similarity is that I think there's still that need for change and that feeling that something needs to be different and that we want to make a change. The difference, I guess, is that it's not all about the drugs and it's not all about the kind of crazy scene that it was. It's a different scene than it was back then.
There seems to be a spirit of openness within the community. Many walks of life and spiritual backgrounds are present within this subculture.
I think music is very spiritual, and I think that it really reaches something deep in people, and it's a form of expression that in some ways people can express more through music and art than they can even verbally. I think there's a thread of something in these musicians and in most of the people, at least, that follow them, that they're really searching for something different than what they're finding in the larger society. They're trying to get back to something wholesome and real, down to earth, you know, family, friends, sharing, love.
But all music is spiritual, not just jam music, like all. Oh well, not Britney music. All right, not all music is spiritual. See?
Yeah, you know, a lot of people go to church to get their spirit, to get what they need in life, and I feel like going to see the Grateful Dead, you can release something and sort of touch onto a higher meaning of group consciousness and just understanding the idea that we're all gathering here for a reason and that humans need to gather to be able to get what they need in life, and love and compassion and togetherness. Yeah. And I'd like to see a little bit more of that, but you know what, it's here and it's alive and it's happening for sure.
Our music, it comes out as a good feeling. It doesn't want you like go and like kill somebody, and it really brings out the good on people.
I think we all need to remember that we're just a little speck of dust in the middle of nowhere, and this is, and we're just a little speck of dust, and we're just little tiny creatures on that speck of dust, and we all need to treat each other right, because there's no point in all of us killing each other. It's no wonder no aliens want to visit us.
It's especially when rhythm is real straight. I mean, when it's just so solid that everything can just lock into it, and no matter, you know, what else is going on, no matter what else is playing, the drums are, you know, kind of the center of it all. And, you know, it's what makes you want to get up and dance. It makes you want to fucking howl at the moon, whatever.
Coming up next, we're going to hear from Bullfrog featuring Kid Koala. This is a Montreal band. And it's interesting how the whole DJ, hip-hop, electronica world is merging with the jam band world. And some of you may be familiar with Bullfrog when they opened for Vita Blue on New Year's Eve at Roseland Ballroom in New York City. That was this past New Year's Eve, 2001, 2002. And we're going to hear a track called Music for Morning People. Thanks for tuning in to Jam Nation. It's Radio 104, WMRQ.
Cultures, two subcultures. We got kind of the electronic subculture and the jam culture. What do you see as the similarities? And
the similarity, 2 words, peace and love. You know, that was just the whole. Both gangs are just up for gelling together. There wasn't any. Sometimes you go to a festival. I mean, perhaps it's sometimes in Europe, and that you have the hippie acoustic gang, and then you have the electronic sort of slightly more. I wouldn't say cosmopolitan, but just digital, not quite gelling with the hippie gang.
I mean, now you have bands like the Disco Biscuits and Soundtribe Sector 9 and the New Deal bringing the whole electronica vibe and transfusion, as the Disco Biscuits called it, and it's really exciting to see all these sort of subgenres now popping up.
I don't know, the two are really starting to infiltrate each other's worlds, though. I think that a lot of jam bands are all of a sudden listening to the beats going on in drum and bass music and saying, wait a minute, I can play that.
You think there's a future blending in the two subcultures?
I say the future blending has already started, definitely. Jimmy Swift Band, that's a blending of the two cultures on its way. That was old school rave music starting to sound. No, what am I talking about? Rock music starting to sound like old school rave music.
Exactly.
It was cool. It was unreal, and they were sort of rocking around the stage, legs going up. Yeah, it was cool. They were cool. Because I thought they were another Grateful Dead backup band, and then walk around the corner and I could just hear this. The keyboard guy was just shutting his eyes, and they were all.
As opposed to the mainstream record industry, the bands usually support themselves by touring, leaving the recorded album as a secondary priority. A group of dedicated fans serve the whole community by taping the shows and distributing the music for free over the internet. This method, often discouraged by traditional record industry protocol, seems to be the strongest way to promote these bands and pull people out to the live shows.
Basically, I think the record industry is going to have to make some sort of a switch where they don't focus on making money with an album and using a tour as a promotional tool. The album will be the promotional tool, and the tour will be the source of income for the record industry to survive.
I believe it. I mean, if you look into the music business and you see how the record labels have gone, and how all these kind of archaic music businesses were set up, they're kind of crumbling.
I'm pleased that so many record labels have come to terms with it. Now that there's just so many bands that for years have been allowing taping, and now more and more, once artists understand the philosophy behind the taping and the tapers, and that they're not really being bootlegged, but this is an opportunity for them to get their music out and experienced by tons, and hopefully those same individuals will come to shows and enjoy their music live. I remember reading a magazine a couple months ago that Trey was interviewed, asked about tapers and Fish and how that all went down, and he was unbelievably supportive and saying the same kind of things that I am, that it's about getting the music out to folks and get their interpretation and feedback, and then with the growth and expansion of the internet, this music gets around and people hear it, and if they like it, they're going to come out and see their shows live, and that's what it's all about.
Like when you catch something like that off the internet and you get that good live stuff, you're like, yeah, I want to go see those guys. Totally, they're awesome.
We're at a grassroots level right now, and I don't know, the more people that hear the music, the better.
With the internet, too, like someone tapes something, the next day it's on the website, so you don't have to call your friend down the street to trade the show with them. Buddy from Toronto can download it like tomorrow or something like that, so which is, internet's a wonderful thing too.
What do you think the scene would be without tapers?
Pretty dead, probably is my guess, because I don't think there's a big radio demand for 10-15 minute songs, so it's just the only means to spread it is through live music.
Not only is the internet the primary source for tape trading, it is also a medium for the community to communicate. There are many internet message boards and forums that people can use to keep in touch.
My community stems from the Fish Sanctuary website. We all post and keep up on each other's lives every minute of every day. We know what each other are doing. We all show up to the same shows in the Ottawa area, and whenever we travel, we kind of run into each other there as well.
If you're not hooked up with the internet, if you're not hooked up with the right people, you're really never going to see this lifestyle. Like when I was exposed to it, it's like I jumped right like head first in.
It's a message board, and we all just have found each other through the message board and have met in real life many, many, many times. There's how many registered users? 4,000 something users, but there's about like 1,000 of us that are family.
I have 17,000 posts on this board.
And he still goes to festivals.
I love String Cheese, and Phil and Bobby are pretty cool. I like Jack Johnson and Carl Denson's Tiny Universe.
My first show was Fish in Greenville, and I don't remember when. It was the only time they ever played in Greenville.
In Boston, I saw the String Cheese incident, and it was just an incredible experience down by the water in the Boston Fleet Pavilion. Just craziness.
Back when I was in 9th grade in 1987, I saw Poison. That was my first concert.
The sense of family is strong within the scene. Parents with young children is a common sight at many festivals. Sometimes, people even get married or spend their honeymoon on tour.
We were on our honeymoon, and we were going to take a trip out west, but then Bonnaroo came along, and you can't pass up something like this.
I'm here on my honeymoon to see Mr. Phil Lesh.
This is why they got married.
This is why they got married?
Well, this is why we got married when we did.
They said, wouldn't it be cool to get married at a Phil campout? Not thinking that a Phil campout would ever take place. And then 2 weeks later, Vibes was announced with Phil.
Right under the Stonehenge right there where that big piece of artwork is, we got married right underneath that where the male and female.
Lucky man right here.
Yeah, this is my husband now.
Okay, when did you get married?
A few minutes ago.
You serious?
Yeah, we just got married over there.
It's nice to get together with a bunch of people who are genuinely good people, who care about things, who care about the environment, who care about people, who care about family and friends and helping each other out and stuff like that. And to me, I mean, yeah, that's what makes me feel warm inside.
When I see people bring their kids to shows today, sometimes I literally get like misty-eyed. It brings me back, and I think it's the greatest thing because, the human life is such a delicate thing. Not to sound hokey or whatever, but I mean, like young kids and children are they're so impressionable. And if you bring a kid to a show, even if he's a month old, he might not remember it. He probably won't remember it, but it really. We can't even comprehend like the way the subconscious works.
You feel it's a safe place for a child?
Oh, definitely. There was people walking around the sides. Watch out for the children, screaming it. Yeah. They do. Watch out for the kids for sure. She likes Trey a lot. She's seen Trey. She likes Dead. She's never seen him. I was pregnant at Jerry's last show with her.
No kidding.
But so I'm gonna have to kick her down that ticket stub someday. But she wasn't actually there yet. But she likes a lot of Dead. Dark Hollow's her favorite Dead song.
Yeah, it's a friendly environment. You can't go anywhere else and have random strangers come up and kiss them on the forehead and give them love.
Yeah.
So
I was really worried at first, because I was worried about a whole lot of Schwilly kids, but this is a really nice festival. There's alcohol, but there's not a whole lot of Schwilly kids going around starting trouble, fights, and everything else.
But I have a little girl that I want to bring on tour this summer after the gathering, so it's a good experience for a toddler.
Do you bring him or her to the shows?
Yeah, his name is Sky Ohm, and we bring him to all kinds of shows.
So, yeah, hopefully, he'll be a happy kid, lots of love. Yeah, that's Mommy's nose.
His mommy's nose.
How does Robbie like being on tour?
He loves being on tour. He went to his first show when he was 6 weeks old. It was the Max Creep Camp Creek show, and he's actually conceived at a festival. So yeah, I think it's a good place for little ones like this. As they get older and they start to understand, then there's going to be some rethinking of what we're going to do with them.
That's Cassidy Hope Caprari. She was conceived at String Cheese on August 7th of 2001 in Shasta,
California. At a String Cheese show.
At a String Cheese Institute show in the woods. But we still could catch the music.
So we gotta have good music. No Britney Spears for her. Absolutely not. We can't do it to her. We can't do it to us.
Last year I went on tour and I caught 16 fish cells.
So what are you doing here?
Right now I'm building the flagpole. I took this piece of bamboo, split it at an angle like that.
Yeah.
Took a shorter one, cut it off and kind of fit it in the space and slipped them back together. Put some splints on it, duct taped it.
I'm just finished up my second year of law school, actually. It's weird when I say that. I feel, for a long time I felt like I had to hide under a rug.
I'm a waitress and I work at a guitar store too.
I have two jobs. I'm a glassblower and I work in a warehouse.
I work with Dave at Lumsden's, and I also do the glass blowing as well. Right now I'm making the beads.
I'm a hairdresser. I do hair. I'm going to beauty school right now.
I'm a software engineer. Yeah, I actually work for one of the big defense companies. So it's a really like 180-degree turn. I'll be at work all week with all these people, like conservative type people, like working on a bunch of computer stuff, and then spend the weekend doing this all weekend. So tomorrow's back to reality.
Well, actually, I work as the assistant manager for Government Mule. And we're here promoting Deep End Volume 2 and Mike Gordon's documentary, Rising Low. Turn people on to Government Mule, the only government you can trust.
Seeing the live show is only part of the whole experience. Some people will go on a full tour without ever even entering the concert gates. What goes on outside the show is often a busy, traveling circus set up in just a few hours. This makeshift city is known in many circles as Shakedown Street. Here you can buy just about anything, vend your own goods, or just lose yourself in a sea of interesting people.
Listen to the words that I say, and don't forget the games that we play. Don't tell me what I already know, and it's hard sometimes, babe, when you're trying not to show. All that I want is some loving. All that I need is you. All that you give is something, and all of this is
hand-drawn Jerry shirts and tank tops.
You can talk to me. If you're lonely, you can talk to me.
And I do think it's pretty remarkable that all these people can go on tour, or even if they're not on tour, just going to a festival. The sort of microcosm or the micro society that is formed in the parking lots or at a festival is great, because it's the scene supporting itself. Somebody might come and bring grilled cheese, and they might sell grilled cheese for $1. You know, somebody else might bring soda and sell that, and somebody else might bring a hemp little pouch or whatever. And each person contributes, and if they can sell it, and other people are buying stuff and selling stuff, and kind of making enough money to make it to the next show or to afford gas to get home from the festival, I think that that's great, because it's a good thing that people can support each other and support the scene.
Oh yeah, we've done lots of festivals, been traveling with the Dead in our young times for a long time.
We're legal vendors. We're legal. Minerals, rocks and minerals. Gems, precious gems.
Havana Seeds, Dominican Republic cigars. Also can be used as camping Tampax holders.
What am I doing? I just did this little shamalama ding dong.
The thing about putting ice cream puts the shamalama in my ding dong. But he doesn't like it, you know. It's an official ice cream truck, so we're trying to stay official.
Is this official?
Yes, it's a real ice cream truck. My mom used to make hacky sacks for me, and I sold them at dead shows. I'd go out on tour, she'd give me 20, 30, 40, 50 hacky sacks to sell. Sometimes you can make a living for sure. Sometimes you're hoping to get to the next show.
Saving the world one grilled cheese at a time. Do you guys do this to support tour?
Support ourselves.
Yeah.
We're just trying to, you know, our life is to go make money on it and try to get to the next show. You know, we're not trying to rip anybody off.
Yes, I have In Construction and Dance with Reckless Abandon. This is my favorite though.
All right. Whole wheat, because I care about the kids, man. I want them to be regular. I've worked in the industry for a couple of years, and why not do it outside of the box instead of feed a bunch of fat old men that have too much money?
What we're doing is we're promoting Grateful Dead products and Happy Life products. We've been selling shirts for about 15 years all across the country. We do a lot of festivals all summer long, and this is what we do. We make the shirts that we sell. We work with the Grateful Dead directly, getting Grateful Dead merchandise, and we have a really lot of nice gift ideas for everybody.
But it's great. It's the people you meet and the fun you have doing it. You can't beat it for a summer job. Way better than working in a in a restaurant or a garden supply store for the summer.
Historically, activism has played a large role in the counterculture. Social, political, and environmental awareness is strong amongst the heads. Some gatherings, like the Evolve Music and Awareness Festival, are combining the music and activism, putting as much emphasis on awareness as they do the music itself.
This year we've probably 50 different environmental groups. Well, not necessarily just environmental groups of all shapes and sizes that are just coming out to explain what kind of things they do. There's no real preaching now. We don't preach it. We just have a table up and there's a sign there saying who they are, and you have the opportunity to walk up and either ask questions or pick up a pamphlet.
You know, there's a lot of people that are looking for change in this world. There's a lot of people looking for change, and festivals such as this is a great way to get the information out, get the people together, talk about the issues, and have fun at the same time.
I think activism's just got a bad rep, and I think some people really think that it's a bunch of people who are, maybe even for the wrong reasons or who are extremists. But really, I think activism, I think we got to reclaim the name hippie. I think we got to reclaim what that means. I think we got to claim it as someone who is into political thought and trying to, be future-oriented and thinking of what the future is to hold.
I'm a hippie and deadhead, and I'm also, everywhere I go, I bring my signs. It's something that I've been over the last 7 years, while they're blowing all over because it's insanely windy here, but over the last 7 years I've been setting up signs in downtown Scranton, where I'm from. And I just think the hippies and the counterculture are the hope of the future. I don't see any other group of people that we can look towards that are going to help make the world a better place.
I'm driving around and I'm kind of spreading hemp vibes, hemp information. The hemp rolling papers, man, it's proof that we do not need to be killing old growth. In Ontario, threatening tamagami, or in the Walbran rainforest in BC, or in the Slocan, so much old growth and so many watersheds are threatened because of logging, which could easily be diverted by growing more hemp and recycling more and being more careful with our waste.
And so what happened was I hooked up with these kids who went down and seen the show, got out. My dad was a cop, and I took an eighth mushrooms for my first time and got arrested on my 17th birthday.
She went to jail.
And went to jail. And now I've been here and doing this ever since.
Do you think drugs has anything to do with this?
I think it may have something to do with it, but it's not the main concern of everyone here. The music's the main concern. The drugs might work into it somewhat, but that's just how some people express themselves. So.
The wharf rats are clean and sober deadheads who choose to still go to shows, and it's like a safe environment for us in a very slippery environment on lot.
Yeah, I actually went to the Dead probably 20 times and never saw a single show. I never went in. I just got fucked up in the parking lot and didn't care about going in, you know, so.
Like if I wasn't in recovery, I wouldn't be here, you know?
I don't have a choice really but to stay sober at this point. If I want to stay free, I have to stay sober.
Despite the popular idea that the scene is based purely on peace and love, as with any microcosm, there's a dark side.
Some bad kids, drunks, bottles, trash, bad stuff.
And we've watched, say, the Dead scene transform from a very tightly knit group of people that were really looking after one another to people coming in and getting the best of the scene.
I would say with the Grateful Dead, there really was a real attempt, and there was a semblance of some kind of togetherness in the people, but right now everybody's individuals.
I always thought a lot of these people are more enlightened and more peace-loving than they are, but when the competitive spirit pops up, my God, man, everybody turns into an American, don't they?
I think a lot of people would acknowledge that it just kind of fell apart there at the end, and Jerry died, and I think people have been searching for something to grab hold of ever since then.
Especially with, I think, what people consider like the hardcore Fish fans who, you know, like, oh, I was on the 94 tour, and oh, you were on the 99 tour, I don't want to talk to you, and it's almost becoming like they're like Republicans in a way, like where it's like, oh, well, I'm a fourth generation, I was here back with the Europeans came along, and it's like you're 99 tour, I don't even want to talk to you because you're not hardcore enough, you didn't get into it too soon. And
everyone's question when you come up to their campsite yesterday seemed to be like, who are you here to see? You know, it's kind of a common question, and it had never come down to the point like, who are you here to see? And I was like, grilled cheese, and just turned sour on me, like, uh-oh. And then I found out later, you know, they got all mad at me and actually eventually kicked me out of their campsite, not for being mean, I feel, because when I was walking away, they started spitting off widespread panic stuff. They were like, panic family, when I was walking around the house.
The guys sitting next to me at the Dead show were wearing Blue Jays hats, and they look like corporate America, and everybody looks at them and kind of snickers because they have Blue Jays hats on or whatever, and the little, you know, cargo shorts and the polo shirt and whatever. But if you talk to them, you'll realize, you know, that's their 90th Dead show, and they know a hell of a lot more than you do. So, you know.
I don't think they'll have any problems, but they do say these bands draw a little bit rougher crowd. I don't know. I'm an old person. You young people know more about that than I do.
Crowd of people turn and stare. They'd seen his face before. Nobody was really sure that he was from the house of the Lord. My name is Wing Frog, and I hiked the Appalachian Trail. And I don't know, I just wanted to come to see if it was going to be a good event or just, you know, one of those events. You know, so far? I mean, so far I like it, but I mean, I was here Wednesday when all this was empty. Everything was empty, and I played out here when everything was empty. And tonight I get kicked out for playing in a venue that was empty because, I don't know why. An empty venue, and a big guy kicked me out. He thought I wanted to be, I guess, famous.
We've got hours to go, and then it's the bus show. That's what we're all waiting for, and no matter how long this keeps up, it'll be gone then. I'm pretty sure of that one.
Are you a bus driver?
I am a bus driver.
Trembles with every footstep, he's stretching out a smooth-found frame. At first, he was imaginary, he lives in Frankenstein's his name. Come and touch my eyes. Come and feel my face. Don't be so surprised, I'm not of human race. Come and touch my eyes. Come and feel my face. Don't be so surprised, I'm not of human race. Of its surroundings, he's laughing, but he don't look friendly. The earth trembles with every footstep. He's stretching out his newfound frame. At first, he was imaginary. He lives in Frankenstein's name.
A lot of bands in this whole family, I guess, get a lot of support from their audience. And as far as audience contribution to a show, too, it's all about energy. And the more the audience contributes, the better and the higher the energy of the show.
Yeah. There's no question that we feed off them, they feed off us, and there's a definite exchange of energy going on.
I think the audience who comes to see shows within the scene, they come to listen to music, and then you can feed off the people who are listening because you're feeding them and you can see them even reacting to how you play.
I can't really think of any other music that while you're creating it, the audience is a part of what you're creating.
That's exactly what I was.
And I think that is a big part of what makes the scene special.
4 feet off the floor, floating all the time. Take a tip from me. We'll do this any time, standing still. Without it, we'll prevail. All there is now. Without it, you won't fail at anything. But the happiness it brings is coming through in waves, floating through your brain.
Now we're gonna show you what a real bucket seat is. That's like a GTO. Take this out. No, I can't. The buckets are gonna temper on somebody. Okay, brother. Right on.
The bucket man.
The bucket. Well, they call me the Tin Man. I'm from Timbuktu. It's all good.
It's so much more intense. Like, I got so much from the music before, but now I come here and experience with all these people, and there's so much energy, and it's all about the feeling, and just like, I didn't know half these people when I got here, and now we're all friends. Like, it's a good vibe. It's all about the vibe.
I just looked at a little baby. And it all occurred to me why we're asking humans to evolve right now. So I decided I am going to do my part to evolve by being a more conscious consumer. It wasn't exactly the way I was brought up, you know, to take note of how many paper cups and plates go throughout my day. So
The jam band label isn't one that all groups in this culture embrace. However, all of these artists are tied together by one common thread: improvisation.
I just think
jam title could be overused, but
jam, cheese whiz, whatever.
Making the effort to master their instruments, if you will, you know? Really care about the music they're playing and care about the people they're playing it for, and that's what I'm hearing. And bands here, they care about who they're playing for. They care about the people, they care about the music. And that's really kind of what's lacking in a lot of music, I think, that's so popular. It's people are getting the connection, people are feeling the feelings, identifying with the stories, identifying with the artists, liking the music. It's great music, it's talented music. These people are talented people.
It's Jam Nation on Radio 104. WMRQ, that was The Slip, recorded on August 25th, 2002 at the Evolve Music and Awareness Festival in Nova Scotia. And that is just one of many amazing festivals that took place in the summer of 2002. It really was an incredible time, and I look forward to next summer because, you know, Bonnaroo will be returning. A lot of the big mainstay festivals will be back, and it's just really an exciting time to be watching this jam band world and the culture evolve, for lack of a better term. So we're going to close things out here with Mark Wilson. The name of this track is Diamond Dancing. My name's Jeff Waffle. Thanks for tuning in. This is Jam Nation on Radio 104 WMRQ.
Is some will. You just got to want to try to pick yourself up, dust it off.
Head culture has exploded since the early years. 3 generations later, kids are still hopping on the bus. There is still a desire for change and a love for creation. Improvisation is not only limited to the music, it is also a way of life for hundreds of thousands of people around the world. This is the Head's Tale.
Many moons ago, this trailer belonged to the Fat Cats, and I'm pretty sure they took it all around the country and whatnot. And then Bert Nelson got a hold of it. This is probably the most handed down piece of jam band equipment in the last 10 years.
So I was just on a field tour. I pulled over once in Georgia.
How'd that go?
This is an obscene gesture in the state of Georgia if you're driving in the hemp van. Okay. There's that. That's probably the number one thing we get. We get that.
And it's all about one thing, and that's just taking it further. In the spirit of Kesey, Babs, Leary, let's go further.
be there.